In February 1933, a German immigrant named Otto Henze sold his first fishing reel out of a rented third-floor loft at 492 North 3rd Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The most expensive reel sold for $2.48. Over the next 70 years, Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company grew into the dominant force in saltwater fishing, holding over 1,000 IGFA world records. In January 2003, the Henze family sold it. That sale was the first of 5 in under 16 years. Otto Henze left Germany in 1922 at age 25 and arrived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He took a job as a machinist at the Ocean City Reels Company. 10 years later, in 1932, Henze left Ocean City Reels and started his own company. He rented a third-floor loft at 492 North 3rd Street in Philadelphia from a general machinist firm called William Schmitz & Company. He named his company Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company. The timing was brutal. The Great Depression was in full swing. Unemployment across the United States had climbed above 25%. Henze launched anyway. In February 1933, Penn made its first recorded sale to the Miller Auto Supply Company of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Miller purchased 3 reels, a Seahawk for $1.21, a Bayside for $1.93, and a Long Beach for $2.48. Penn's total sales for that first year came to $7,526. Henze priced his reels at half the cost of his competitors, while matching every feature they offered. By 1936, 4 years after opening, his gross sales had increased tenfold. Also in 1936, Penn introduced a reel called the Senator. It was built to fight the largest game fish in the ocean, and it changed saltwater fishing permanently. In 1942, Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company outgrew its third-floor loft on North 3rd Street. Henze moved the entire operation to a larger facility on West Hunting Park Avenue in Philadelphia's Nicetown Tioga neighborhood. That address would remain Penn's manufacturing home for the rest of the century. The move came at a complicated moment. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, and the United States entered World War II. Penn redirected a portion of its manufacturing capacity for wartime production. Construction of new reels stopped entirely because the raw materials were needed for the war effort. To keep their customers engaged, Penn offered a free tube of reel lubricant to any angler who wrote in and requested one. The war ended in 1945. Americans came home, found jobs, and had money to spend on leisure for the first time in over a decade. Fishing boomed. Penn was positioned directly in the middle of it. Otto Henze did not live to see how large Penn would become. In 1948, he died suddenly. He was 56 years old. His wife, Martha Henze, was 39 years old when Otto died. She made a decision that almost no woman in American business made at that time. She stepped in and took over as president of Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company. She did not hand the company to a male executive. She ran it herself. Martha was not a figurehead. She was an active angler who understood saltwater fishing from personal experience. In 1951, she caught a 613-pound bluefin tuna in Nova Scotia. Her knowledge of what anglers needed on the water directly shaped the company's product decisions throughout her tenure. Under Martha's leadership, Penn expanded from a respected American brand into an international one. The company sold reels in England, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, France, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. Martha ran Penn as president until 1963, 15 years in total. In 1963, her son Herbert Henze took over as president, and Martha became chairwoman of the board. She held that position until she retired in 1977. Henze. Leadership defined an era. Herbert Henze had grown up inside the company. He served as president for 39 years, from 1963 until his retirement in December 2002. He was Penn's last family president, and his tenure shaped the company's direction. Last of the family presidents. The records Penn set during this era were not incremental. They were dominant. In 1955, every single one of the 5 new IGFA world records set that year, black drum, amberjack, yellowtail, wahoo, and white pointer shark, was set using a Penn reel, all 5 in the same year. By 1959, Penn was manufacturing 77 different reel models. The company had expanded far beyond the 3 models Otto sold out of his loft in 1933. In 1961, Penn introduced its first spinning reel. It was called the Spinfisher 700. Spinning reels were simpler to operate than conventional reels, and they opened saltwater fishing to a new generation of anglers who had never fished before. Spinfisher changed how people fished. In 1966, Penn went further, and the company introduced the International Series, a line of reels built specifically for big game tournament fishermen targeting the largest, most powerful fish in the ocean. The Internationals featured an anodized gold finish and the fishing world's first preset drag control. They became the standard reel for offshore big game fishing worldwide. Internationals set the standard. In 1979, a fisherman named Frank Mundus caught the largest mako shark ever landed on rod and reel off the coast of Long Island, New York. The shark weighed 1,080 pounds. Mundus used a Penn reel to do it. Mundus was the real-life inspiration for the character Quint in the 1975 film Jaws, Mako, and a moment in fishing history. The records kept coming. By 1990, Penn reels had been used to set over 700 IGFA world records. By 1997, that number had grown past 800. By 2004, Penn reel models held over 1,400 IGFA world records, more than any other manufacturer on Earth. Records piled up year after year. The Philadelphia plant on West Hunting Park Avenue was the engine behind all of it. At its peak, the facility employed 270 workers. The company generated annual revenue of approximately $50 million. The broader US fishing tackle industry was producing $2.1 billion in sales per year, and Penn was one of its most recognized names. Philadelphia was the heart of production. The manufacturing process at the Hunting Park Avenue plant was precise and labor-intensive. Intricate 3-inch geared spindles were cut from stainless steel on 18-foot lathes. Parts were machined from forged aluminum at rows of computerized equipment and then hand-assembled on the floor. Every precision gear that went into a Penn reel was made in-house at that plant by workers who had often spent their entire careers there. Precision was built into every reel. Penn was not a corporation managed from a distant headquarters. It was a neighborhood manufacturer. Many of the 270 workers on Hunting Park Avenue had fathers who worked there before them. Some employees had joined straight out of high school and never left. That began to change in the early 2000s. By 2003, the global fishing reel market had shifted. Shimano, a Japanese manufacturer, had spent decades building a competing line of saltwater reels and had taken significant market share from Penn in the mid-range price category. Cheaper reels from China were flooding the lower end of the market. Penn's cost structure, built on American wages, American materials, and American facilities, could not match those prices on every product line. The pressure showed up first in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Penn operated a second manufacturing facility in the town of Higgins, located at 218 Dell Road. The Higgins plant had been open since 1968. It employed workers who produced Penn's high-volume spinning reels, the models that sold at lower price points and in the largest quantities. In March 2005, Penn announced it would permanently close the Higgins facility. Approximately 85 employees received notice that their jobs were ending. The layoffs were rolled out from May through July of 2005. Penn's chief financial officer at the time, David Martin, explained the decision plainly. Pricing pressure from overseas competition made it impossible to continue operating the Heggins facility at a cost-competitive level. The work that had been done in Heggins would be divided. Some operations moved to Philadelphia, and the rest were shipped to manufacturers in China. Penn's national sales manager later described the specific math behind the overseas shift. To keep producing the Penn SSG spinning reel in the United States, the company faced three options. First, manufacture it domestically and lose $3 million per year. Second, pull the product from the market entirely. Third, move production overseas and price it competitively. Penn chose the third option. Penn employees at Heggins were given a severance package. Workers with more than 20 years of service received 8 weeks of pay. Penn submitted a trade petition to the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry so that displaced employees could qualify for additional government-funded job training and career transition support. Many of those 85 workers had never looked for a job before. Some had worked at the Heggins plant since graduating high school. The closure of Heggins did not just eliminate jobs, it ended careers that had been built inside a single building on Dell Road for 30 years. After Heggins closed, the Philadelphia plant kept running. The high-end models, the International Series and the Senator Series, continued to be made by hand at Hunting Park Avenue. The lower-priced product lines were now being manufactured in China and shipped back to the United States under the Penn name. The brand was intact, the records were intact, the Philadelphia plant was still running. But the company that Otto Henze had built on the principle of making every part in-house in Philadelphia was no longer doing that, and the man who had held the company together through all of it, Herbert Henze, had already left. Herbert retired in December 2002. 1 month later, on January 3, 2003, the Henze family's 71-year ownership of Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company officially ended. On January 3, 2003, Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was sold to 2 fishing tackle wholesalers for an undisclosed amount. The first buyer was Sea Striker Incorporated. Sea Striker was based in Morehead City, North Carolina. It was known for its Bill Fisher line of rods and terminal tackle, and it was the parent company of Star Rods. Sea Striker was owned by 3 people: Dick Henry, Phyllis Henry, and Al Brister. The second buyer was Master Fishing Tackle. Master Fishing Tackle was based in Carson, California. It imported rod and reel combos sold throughout the United States. Its owner was a man named Jerry Rodstein. Together, Sea Striker and Master Fishing Tackle purchased all shares held by the Henze family, the shares that had been in that family for 71 years. Penn's corporate headquarters stayed in Philadelphia. The company continued to operate 3 manufacturing facilities in Pennsylvania. Kevin Martin was named the new Chief Executive Officer of Penn. Martin had spent the previous year at Penn as Chief Operating Officer. Before that, he had served as President and Chief Executive Officer of Spalding Sports Worldwide. Sea Striker and Master Fishing Tackle were not large corporations. They were wholesalers. Their combined infrastructure was built for distributing tackle, not for financing and scaling a manufacturer of Penn's size. The partnership lasted less than 4 years. The first sale had barely settled before the second one arrived. In January 2007, Shakespeare Fishing Tackle acquired Penn Fishing Tackle Manufacturing Company for an undisclosed amount. Shakespeare was based in Columbia, South Carolina. Shakespeare's president at the time was Scott Hogsett. Hogsett stated publicly that Penn products had been the gold standard for offshore, inshore, and surf fishing for 75 years, but that the Penn name had lacked the resources to grow and develop its markets. That last part mattered. It was an admission that the previous 4 years under Sea Striker and Master Fishing Tackle had not produced the investment Penn needed. Shakespeare was not an independent company. Shakespeare was a division of K2 Inc. K2 Inc. was a publicly traded consumer products company, headquartered in Carlsbad, California. Its portfolio included Shakespeare, Pfluger, and Stearns in the marine and outdoor segment. It also owned K2 skis, Vokal, marker bindings, Ride snowboards, and Rawlings baseball equipment. Fishing was one of more than 20 product categories K2 managed simultaneously. Penn had gone from a 71-year family operation, where every decision was made by someone named Henze, to a line item inside a diversified sporting goods company that also sold ski boots and baseball bats. The second sale closed in January 2007. The third sale came 8 months later. In August 2007, the Jarden Corporation acquired K2 Inc. for approximately $1.2 billion. K2's entire portfolio transferred with the deal, including Shakespeare, and inside Shakespeare, Penn. Jarden was a conglomerate based in Rye, New York. Its brand portfolio included Yankee Candle, Crock-Pot, Coleman Camping Gear, Ball Mason Jars, and Mr. Coffee. Penn was now owned by the same parent company that made scented candles and home canning equipment. Jarden had also made a separate acquisition 4 months earlier, in April 2007. It purchased Pure Fishing Inc. for approximately $400 million. Pure Fishing was the parent company of fishing brands Berkley, Abu Garcia, and Fenwick, Penn's direct competitors in freshwater and light saltwater tackle. With K2's acquisition complete, Jarden folded Penn into the Pure Fishing portfolio. Penn was placed alongside Abu Garcia, Berkley, Fenwick, and Shakespeare inside a single fishing tackle division. The logic was consolidation, one division managing all the brands, sharing distribution networks, sharing manufacturing infrastructure, sharing sales teams. For Penn, it meant the company that had operated independently on Hunting Park Avenue since 1942 was now sharing a corporate parent with brands it had competed against for decades. The Philadelphia plant kept running through all of it. The workers kept showing up. The reels kept getting made. Penn continued releasing new products and continued winning awards. In 2006, Penn's International Torque Reel was named the America Sport Fishing Association's Saltwater Reel of the Year. In 2015, Penn launched the Clash Spinning Reel, which took home Best in Show in the saltwater reels category at ICAST, the fishing industry's largest annual trade show. The brand was performing, the product was still respected, but the decisions about Penn's future were no longer being made in Philadelphia. They were being made inside Jarden's headquarters in Rye, New York. The fourth sale came in April 2016. On December 14, 2015, Newell Rubbermaid announced it would acquire the Jarden Corporation. The deal closed on April 15, 2016. The final price was $15.4 billion. The combined company was renamed Newell Brands. Newell Brands was enormous. The acquisition created a global consumer goods company with annualized sales of $16 billion and a portfolio spanning more than 100 product categories. Its brands included Papermate, Sharpie, Rubbermaid, Coleman, Graco Baby Products, Calfell & Cookware, First Alert, and Yankee Candle. Penn was one brand inside that list of over 100. Pure Fishing, the division containing Penn, was generating approximately $556 million in net sales annually as of 2017. It was a meaningful business, but inside a $16 billion corporation, it represented less than 4% of total revenue. Newell Brands had taken on significant debt to complete the Jarden acquisition. By 2018, the company was under direct pressure from activist investors, including Starboard Value, to cut costs and raise cash by selling off non-core assets. Newell's leadership responded by identifying a list of businesses to divest. Pure Fishing was on that list. Penn was going to be sold for the 5th time. On November 7, 2018, Newell Brands signed a definitive agreement to sell Pure Fishing to Sycamore Partners. Sycamore Partners was a private equity firm based in New York City. It specialized in consumer, distribution, and retail-related investments and managed approximately $10 billion in assets. The gross proceeds from the sale were $1.3 billion. Pure Fishing's portfolio at the time of the sale included 18 brands: Abu Garcia, All-Star, Berkeley, Chubb, Fenwick, Grays, Hardy, Hodgman, Johnson, JRC, Mitchell, Penn, Pfluger, Sabile Shakespeare, Spiderwire, Stren, and Ugly Stick. Penn was one name on that list. Sycamore Partners was not buying Penn by itself. It was buying a portfolio of 18 fishing brands, and Penn came with it. Sycamore Partners completed the acquisition on December 21st, 2018. Penn had now been sold 5 times since January 2003. The 5 sales spanned 15 years and 11 months. The company that Otto Henze built with $7,526 in first-year sales was last valued as part of a $1.3 billion transaction. Each sale had moved Penn further from the world it was built in. The first sale, in 2003, transferred it from a family to 2 wholesalers. The second, in January 2007, placed it inside a publicly traded sporting goods conglomerate. The third, 8 months later, in August 2007, buried it inside a household goods giant that also sold candles. The fourth, in April 2016, moved it into a $16 billion corporation where it generated less than 4% of total revenue. The fifth, in December 2018, handed it to a private equity firm that specializes in extracting value from consumer brands. As of 2023, Pure Fishing remains Penn's parent company under Sycamore Partners ownership. Penn's headquarters are no longer in Philadelphia. After Pure Fishing absorbed Penn into its corporate structure, the headquarters relocated to Spirit Lake, Iowa, Pure Fishing's home base. The Philadelphia plant on West Hunting Park Avenue still operates. It employs over 300 workers. It still manufactures the Senator series and the International series, the 2 product lines that remain American-made. The rest of Penn's more than 200 reel models are now manufactured overseas, primarily in China. In 2022, at the ICAST trade show, Penn's new Authority reel won the New Product Showcase Best in Class award for saltwater fishing reels. The brand still competes, the Philadelphia plant still runs. The Senator still catches fish. The reel Otto Henze designed in 1936 is still in production, made by hand in the same city, by workers who have no idea that the company their paychecks come from has changed hands 5 times since the last Henze walked out the door. If this documentary on Penn Reels added something to your day, like this video and subscribe, only if it was worth your time.